everyone, and welcome back. Today we're going to be playing some Jeskai Control. I played blue-white, and I talked about how our new board wipe here is a little underrated and performs significantly better than I thought it would, but we're going to be adding red back in to play some of my other favorite cards that I've been playing with since kind of Tarkir came out, but we're going to play it here in kind of our new current meta, with Shiko being the primary card in the deck and what the build and structure is built around. When Shiko enters exile, target non-land card with mana value 3 or less from our graveyard, copy it. We may cast it without paying its mana cost, and that works incredibly well. Stock up in our extra 2 copies of stock up for the most part and rediscover the way. This looks at the top 3 twice. We can grab one of those 3 cards each time, and stock up obviously looks at the top 5, and then whenever Shiko comes in, that allows us to look at additional cards for free and helps us generate a ton of value that our opponents can't keep up with. In terms of board wipes, we have Ultima, as we pointed out earlier. 4 temporary lockdowns and spot up removal is 4 get lost and 4 lightning helix. Other things to piece together the deck is a 1 of Ghost Vacuum and a 1 of Soul Guide Lantern. This is kind of to interact with the Omniscience stacks or Insidious Root stacks or anything that just becomes relevant for us, as you'll see in maybe one of our domain games where like a Ghost Vacuum worked against them pretty well and made Yuna look pretty useless. Outside of that, we have changed the equation as a 1 of to go short or big, especially against those red decks and green decks. And then we have Dispelling Exile to be our main counterspell, as we run like 6 dragons in our list as well. And then the important lands, Quarry Mountain Monastery is probably the most important whenever it comes to figuring out what value we have, because this can kind of act as our Castle of Old, if you know what that was. Castle Vantris, I believe, or that might be the white one. One of the blue, it's the blue castle from a while ago, but exile top card of your library until end of your next turn. You may play that card. The blue one definitely scryed too, but this does not. Other than that, we're going to go ahead and dive into the games. I'm still kind of exhausted from doing all the Vegas stuff and whatnot, and still hopping back into work directly and recording, so kind of like the work never stopped, but in a different way. So with that said, let's go ahead and dive into the games. I mean, I guess we keep. I know I have a lot of blue cards and no blue mana, but hopefully our Surveil plus like, hopefully our hand's just good for it, I guess. Let's Surveil up. We'll bend that for now. Definitely digging for a blue land if I'm going to rip and land. Starting town. Well, ask and we'll receive, I guess. Let's just slam the vacuum and just ride out that way. Could be domain. Yeah. Oh, interesting. We won't get to respond to this, unfortunately. Yeah, it is Yuna domain. Sure. They're all enchantments, so we'll just take them both. They'll gain some life. We don't really care. We're here to bore them to death at this point. Pass it up. Use this if there's a green spell as a counter. Yep. Here we go. Oh no! I don't really got a whole lot going on, so I might as well do this, right? Region's pretty good, but I think we just grab. Honestly, I'm gonna get a whole nother look probably, so we just go ahead and do it twice. And unit doesn't really do much because of the vacuum. We can just keep targeting whatever they get rid of. Now that does a lot, obviously. They could Leyline Binding me now. Honestly, it might be a thing where I just pop this eventually. You know what I mean? Now we want to land. We'll take it. Go here and then I guess do nothing. I have a helix. I have like this thing. I'm not even sure if I have enough basics. There's a Yuna. There's nothing in the graveyard for them to get, so maybe we just go for a land. This only has Ward 2 on their turn during your turn. Yeah. Let's activate here. We hit a land, but it's a tap land. Let's exile the last card, I guess. Might as well here. Change the equation. That pops. Let's surveil. I don't want Biza right now. Honestly, I'll probably just exile it with the Ghost Vacuum. And then we'll just pass here. Because this does target. Beginning of separate return up to one target. Yeah. Sure. Fail 2, you gain 2 life. Would you cast exile? Alright, sure. Not really worth using our counterspell one. Also, they have it covered. I'd much rather if they try to go for a beanstalk here or something, I can do this then. They flash it back, and this will come back on the backside, so we don't want to allow that. Spin 0. It's exiled, because that's how that works. Now we activate here. Take this away. Sure. Sure. Interesting. Weird situation to be in, huh? Go here. Do this. Ghost Vacuum is probably going to get popped one of these turns. And we have a Soul Guide Lantern. And again, we can exile our Biza. That could technically kill us. That could do it. That could do it. I'm not gonna lie. I'm going for that if I can. Not gonna worry about much here. We're just gonna pop this. Just hold here. Did I not exile? I didn't exile my Biza. Brutal. I do think it's gonna be funny to get that and then get like the Biza and everything. They hard cast the Overlord. Okay. Interesting. Got nothing to do here, so sure. Let's activate our graveyard. Let's get the Regent here. Pop here. Sure. Need one land draw here, to be honest. Don't find it because what, this 6? This would take our whole thing. Then they'd be allowed to bring that back. So we're just gonna have to let it go for now. We need to grab a land and then probably a Get Lost if I had to guess. Let's go here. And then we just pass it up. Not letting Yuna be valuable at all. We can go right into Overlord or we can get the Primal. It's a little weird. It's probably supposed to be Overlord. Because it makes so many tokens. Although this like does whatever. And our opponent is just giving up entirely. Very cool. So that Ghost Vacuum did all the work. That game was only 6 minutes. That felt like ever, dude. But yeah, our next turn, basically all we wanted was to be able to pop this with a ton of stuff under it. And then play a Soul Guide Lantern after. So if they ever try to do the Yuna shenanigans, we can just exile their graveyard for sure. So cool. We move on. All right, here we are. Opponent's first, which is obviously unfortunate, but we can play the Surveil land, and all of these lands are good. We have Counterspell available. Obviously, this hand's significantly better if we were just on the play, because our Counterspells would be a bit more relevant, but we'll see. We will see if we just get outran. Might be Omniscience. I don't need another land right now. I have 2 blue, 3 red, 2, 3 white, so we're fine right now. Soldiers. We definitely need a temp lockdown, that's for sure. Another land. Play here. Either land we played reveals over Jeskai, so it's not that big of a deal. Cavern obviously is pretty important. That's why I waited, because I want to get value out of these. We have to get value off our counter spells, why there's no dragon available. You have a Spell Pierce. In your soldiers deck, you're playing Spell Pierce when you can just play Cavern of Souls. Alright, I guess. My bad. That's on me. Alright, well. We're in a spot, that's for sure. Pop one of these, maybe. I don't know. Spell pierce me again, dude. Oh, wow. Sure, I guess. An absolute dead draw. Pretty good draw. I guess play it. Brother, there's like no way you actually have like another counter spell or something. That's just not real. I guess I have to just take the damage. It's actually not real. It's just how this opponent's playing this game, to be honest with you. And they have enough to pay for my thing. Well, I mean, I guess I could pay for a spell pierce. They're like, I'm gonna play soldiers, play 2 creatures, and then only play counter spells from here on out. If they have another spell pierce, this game is just literally absurdly unreal. Okay. So they've had... Yeah, man, because you put counter spells in your soldier deck. Like, what are we doing? What? Like, if they would have just played like a 1-drop... Like, don't get me wrong. Spell pierce is fine. Or protect is fine in general. But the fact that your hand was 2 creatures, spell pierce, and 2 like other forms of spell pierce in a way, it's just like, what are we? I don't know, man. It just seemed like a weird thing. But all right, cool. All right, apparently we're just gonna have awkward man all day. We'll keep. We have a draw, a surveil, and another draw before we really have to hit the land. No. If Omniscience is leading off on turn 1 planes, then sure, I guess. Yeah, my bad. That's on me. That's why just leading off matters so much. I mean, great draw for us. I can technically just helix this if I want. Eh. Counter there. Also, double planes. Is that how their deck's running now? It's kind of crazy to me. We need to find important cards. Important card numero uno found. 2 planes are in play currently. That is... Do they play that many planes now? I've been gone for like... I've been gone for 1 game, dude. Or 1 weekend. And they're like, yep, we're playing the basic planes and stuff. I guess take the counter spell. Here, here, and then here. So the best part about Soul Guide Lantern is it enters... Okay, goodbye. It enters and exiles, and then we can pop it later on another one because we get this one, and then as soon as they put a second Omniscience in, we pop this and exile it. So, cool. These graveyard 8 pieces, 1 and 1 coming in clutch. Maybe, dude. I don't know. This is where 100% of the time we draw a land. 100% of the time. All right. Sure. Okay. 100% of the time it's a land. Now we just have to pretend like we have something. Whenever they lightning strike me, it won't matter. Here. We don't have anything. Sure. I just don't care. If we're gonna draw 4 lands literally in a row, I'm good, dude. All right, we're ready. We'll keep. We're in the draw, and how bad is that gonna punish us? Maybe very little. I don't know. I'll keep the land. We can play this so we have counterspell up. Probably Omniscience. Only real deck and reason right now. Come on, boss. Put your spell out there. Okay. Your turn now. No. We counter that, so you just can't get anything started, really. And it takes a little bit longer for them to do much. Also, our cards aren't going to be... This isn't going to stay good forever. Well, immediately 2 Omniscience in there. Nice. Yeah, my bad. They return neither, which is a mistake. I can see the allure to return one, but returning neither is bad. You want to bring one back just in case I have removal for one of these, so you can just hard cast the second one. But sure. Go ahead. What you got for me? You're playing Soul Guide Lantern? Sure. You got it. He's opponent, right? So it doesn't hit them, yeah. Like, dude, I would hate to play against the mirror, you know what I mean? I said, not really. They don't even attack. They're raging now. It might be over already before it begins. Temp lockdown's bad, so we'll get rid of it. We'll draw up another card. We'll add more blue mana, and we'll just say go. Honestly, at this point, we might just start activating the Corey. Now, there's an interesting thing. The problem is, I can't counter this. I have to just let it go. You might be like, why? Because now they guarantee the land, but they can just... The next card on top could be a land, then they could bring back the card, and I lose, right? We're just solely digging for our graveyard interaction at some point. At some point, we may or may not find it. Oh, that resolves. This? Oh, we found it. Discard a card. This one. We go into... What? Can I play the Surveil land? I can, right? Yeah, definitely can. We'll keep that on top. We'll play our own Soul Guide Lantern. We'll exile 1 Omniscience. Now we're ready to exile the second one until we can find out how to get rid of the third one. It's all part of the plan. I mean, I might as well just like... Actually, here's a really cool play. We let that resolve, right? So this all happens. Our opponent's like, ha, look how great I am. And I go get lost this. And then I get my Soul Guide Lantern to come back in, triggering and exiling their other Omniscience. Which is pretty sweet. Obviously. Now they hit the Spell Pierce. Like, I got you now. I'm just going to be mana efficient. Pop this. They can Spell Pierce this if they want. They're on max hand size, though. Spell Piercing that does nothing. Now they can discard to max hand size. They can get rid of Temp Lockdown. That makes a lot of sense. 3 counter, and I can pay the 2. So, stock up here. If they Spell Pierce stock up, we just let it go. Alright. Bye-bye, Mr. Opponent. Sure, man. I have 1 counter spell to hold it all together. You are the glue. You are the card that can change the equation. Is that cringe? Is that cringe, guys? Is that bad? I would like to counter this spell. That's such a bad card to counter spell, isn't it? But I have to. But I don't want them to be able to Gleeful Demolition it. I just realized Gleeful Demolition rotates out. That's a weird thing to think about. Alright, I'll let all this happen. I'm stock upping. Grabbing this. I could grab this land. That'd actually not be bad. Maybe it's the counter spell. I mean, it's temporary lockdown no matter what. I have a Shiko. Honestly, I guess it's probably just the land and sure I can hit my stuff, right? Red, white. What's the plan? Good thing we didn't take a counterspell, right? Also, if they're just going to flash in a creature here, I'm definitely inclined to let it happen. But how do we let it happen? Do we just slam a Biza? I guess so, right? That extra land drop's actually huge. Oh, they don't flash in anything. So maybe they are just stuck on Gleeful Demolition. And maybe a Night Eric's. Alright. Grab 2 1-drops, maybe. Best thing about Biza is it does not fear away from a Knight, that's for sure. Looks the Knight right in the eyeballs. Says, "What's up, thug?" Alright. Well, I guess I just do the best thing I can do here. Match their value. Yeah. 1 and 1. Ensuring land drops and allowing ourselves to double spell over and over and over again is going to be really, really important. Because we're going to have to be able to Helix and then play Biza or like board wipe and stuff like that eventually. Alright. Will we see this in a Gleeful Demolition? The world may never know. Kind of what I thought they were going to do initially. With this, that's why we countered it. Yeah, but this card rotates. Although this deck isn't necessarily most popular deck of all time anymore. It's a cool one. It's kind of weird how incredibly good this deck was. And then how fast it kind of just fell off. They're going to do another scry here. Then they're going to lose their whole board. And I even have backup for it. Play Surveil Land. Stock up's great. Let's temp lockdown. And then I'm just going to get aggressive. I put half their life total almost away. I mean, I do, I guess, technically with the Helix. Ishiko doesn't tap. And then if they play like a case, now it does nothing. This is one of the reasons this deck our opponent's playing cannot exist. Sure. You're curious why? Because temporary lockdown's a 4 of like main board card, and this deck's just so low to the ground. We'll just Helix that, I guess. That makes more sense why they're playing the Merrick's over the other land. Even though the other land can make a treasure, but that's like 4 mana or something. This is what? 2, 3? 3, 2? Combat. Well, they block, and the block here literally does nothing well for them. Maybe they're looking for a shelter by Ghost, but we just have all that covered. I can't think of an out our opponent could have. And we're going to stock up too. I mean, maybe a get lost for that, or the creature that blows it up, right? Pass. Hold up to get lost. Game has been over pretty much since the lockdown resolved, but honestly, it ended when we countered the nesting bot and they couldn't Gleeful Demolition because that allowed us to stop them from scrying. And then this would have eventually had flying and would have got bigger. They would have manipulated the top, and as you can see, they're flooding out quite a bit. So obviously the manipulation of the top deck would have mattered a lot. But yeah, I mean, this game is just over. Sure, nesting bot resolves. Not answer my 4/5 in the air. They could have a shelter by Ghost. Could be trying to play around it. All this resolves. I'll just attack with my flyer. Alright, cool. Very awesome. Alright, what did we learn today? Well, just play your one-ofs that counter your Omniscience opponent and things like that. And they'll come in clutch and you'll find them exactly in your opener every game. They're all one-ofs, you know. So it's pretty cool to start the games out with the Ghost Vacuum or a Soul Guide Lantern, or finding them pretty quickly against those opponents. So that's obviously pretty dope. We didn't see Ultimatum, or yeah, we didn't see this Ultima once, not Ultimatum, but we didn't see this card one time. So that was pretty cool. We saw both of these in Biza in the same game. None of this. We saw these cards as though we were playing 4 copies of them. So that's pretty cool. But with all that said and done, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'm going to call it there. I'm still kind of reeling from, you know, the trip and all that. And I came back, got like a day off, and then went right back into my work week. So kind of just, you know, running it down at this point, then it is what it is. But with all that said, I hope you all enjoyed, and I'll catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.